Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Thank you for staying with us. Now, after starting our own fashion YouTube channel called Silverware TV and getting emails from people interested, Luyanda realized her fashion voice needs to be heard. She spent 6 years in Los Angeles and decided to head back to Johannesburg to bridge the gap for South African women and their accessibility to unique global styles. This morning we chat Luyanda on our fashion channel and so much more. Luyanda, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hi, thank you.
Okay, you come from a music background. What sparked the interest in fashion? Are you still doing music, or has fashion taken over everything?
Yeah, basically my parents own their own record label, Native Rhythms, so that's just the influence in the music. I did dabble in music where I was doing...
Are you Sipa's daughter?
Yes. I was doing just studio work for a studio in Los Angeles, and that's basically the extent of my music career, yeah. But fashion's always been a thing, and I think I come from a very fashionable family as well.
Okay, and then so you decide then you're going to start this this vlogging channel where you vlog content and that kind of stuff, and then you started the brand Revolt.
Yes.
But that is two very different disciplines, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Well, one, I'm the CEO, so that's just a whole nother ball game. And then for silverwares, it's kind of something to do fun and keep it light and just speak about the things that I love about fashion. But Revolt Clothing is obviously something that is like my baby and it's my business. So it's totally two different things.
So you start the YouTube channel, and often when you speak to people about their channels or the things that they do, they create these channels and these platforms because they have a voice.
Yes.
And then they find that the moment they start this, putting it out there, people respond and people interact. And what was some of the feedback that you got? Were you echoing what people were thinking?
I think a lot of the feedback is just, this is so awesome, this is great, or I didn't think about that, I'm putting these two things together. So, but it's still a growing process. So to say if I'm echoing what people are thinking, I'm not sure yet. I'm just producing what I like about fashion in my style. I think it is a little bit different from the norm of what people would wear. So I think people really enjoy that part of it, yeah.
Spending time abroad, how does that open your fashion eye?
Like to an extreme. And anyway, I do my research, so I'm not having to live abroad. I can look online and see all the trends that are happening on the runway. But it really does open my eye a lot. I'm always opening and looking at people whenever I'm traveling, just to see how they dress, because it goes with the social economic of that city or that country. So fashion has got so many elements to it, and why do people dress this way? Because maybe the climate or something like that. So it's interesting, and you get a little psychology session in your head.
Maybe it's a difficult question to ask, but what is the biggest lesson learned traveling abroad and that you've brought home?
Gosh, that is a difficult question. There's so much. How to adapt, I think that's very important as human beings, just how to adapt, how to interact with people that are different from you, and how to stand your ground and be yourself. Because you can lose yourself sometimes because you want to fit into a certain place that's not home. So I think those were the big lessons.
Define Revolt's style for me. Obviously you're the creative behind it, you're basically the engine that runs the entire room, but if you had to define the sense of style, what you're trying to say to women, men, what are you saying to the industry?
Well, Revolt Clothing is basically for the edgy girl. It is fast fashion, an online brand solely. And it's just someone who really enjoys putting different textures together, putting different patterns together. They're not afraid of fashion. You probably won't find simple basics in my store. It's the staple pieces that you would wear forever and ever, like that big awesome jacket. And it's for the girl who just loves to be in the downtown area, going through thrift stores. She's probably the friend that's the fashionista in the group, and everyone always looks up to her or asks her for fashion advice.
Obviously, new business owners and designers are not scared of online. It's a new frontier. How are you finding the online environment at the moment?
I think it's quite difficult in South Africa. Obviously, I could have opened up this brand when I was living in Los Angeles, but I didn't see the need, and I was like, it would just be, I'd be a small fish in a huge pond. And I thought, why not bring this thing to South Africa, where I live, where my home is, and see how people will react to being online. Obviously, there is a huge learning curve at the moment, but South Africa will definitely catch on, just like
I
any
think so,
other country. When they started doing online, people were afraid, and now it's this big boom. So why not be part of the pioneering people of online shopping?
But that also means that your clientele is pretty young, but tech savvy. You talked about edgy. That's really what it means. Huh?
Basically, yeah. But online shopping can start from anywhere. I think honestly it started with moms looking for things online for their babies or whatever, and it's just the demographic can go anywhere. But for my brand, it is someone who's probably from 19 years old to about 33, I would say.
Cool. So youth market.
Yes.
We're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. Luyanda Sithole, she's the owner, the engine behind the brand called Revolt Clothing. You can log on to her platform. It's www.revoltclothing.net to find out more. And you can go and look at Silverware TV, which is a YouTube channel which looks at fashion, Luyanda's thoughts on fashion. And if you want to share, you can interact with her there. We take an ad break. Don't go anywhere.